And all clear. Nothing. Dad refused, but he's still doing fine to my knowledge. He won't say anything different, I guess. I don't know. He's being stubborn. Anywho. Um and so we don't know where the heck this came from. And then there is also a very slim chance that I just won the lucky genetic bingo that again affects less than 1% of the population, and it just randomly showed up in my DNA. So there is a high possibility that I won the lucky genetic bingo and it showed up in my DNA randomly out of nowhere, which sucks a lot. Okay, so fast forward again. We go over, and come March 2025, go in and get my colon removed along with most of my rectum and get an ileostomy pouch put in. Now, what's it called? Now, if you don't know, an ileostomy pouch is basically, for all intents and purposes, just make this a simple concept, is where they reroute your GI tract, all right, where they give you a J pouch, okay? And what that is that they cut out your colon, they take the end of that colon, rearrange it, what's it called? They take the end of that, of the small intestine, arrange it into sort of a J shape, put the end of that in a hole in your stomach, all right, where you poo into a pouch. Yes, yes, you heard that right. All right, I was basically pooing in a pouch for my stomach. I had a poo pouch. All right, and which, dear goodness gracious, there's so many things that went along with this. All right, I will make another video to get more into depth about it, but basically, I had a poo pouch while I had to go under chemotherapy. I was pooing from my stomach. Fun, right? So that's what I did. And the chemotherapy was only supposed to be for 6 months, which I had to get a port put in my chest. Okay. And what this port does is that it allows nurses to stick a needle in there after putting in lidocaine cream, which numbs the area up. Very important because the needle is huge and hurts like the dickens. And so they put in the needle after numbing the area up so that they can infuse the chemo medication. All right. And what's it called? And with this chemo medication, had to have the chemo medication. I had to put it in for like a couple hours at the office for infusion, and then they hooked me up to a chemo pump that I had to carry around with me for 48 hours over the weekend while it gets pumped into me. Okay? And then I had to do that good for loveliness every 2 weeks for 6 months. It was supposed to be just 6 months as precaution to make sure that the cancer does not spread. That is not what happened. What happened instead was that I went through 10 rounds of chemo. You heard that right. 10 rounds of chemo. Okay. And they found out that my cancer was not shrinking. It wasn't going away. No, in fact, it was still spreading onto different organs in my dang body. So, had to switch to a different, more intense chemotherapy. Mind you, again, I will make a separate video about all of the lovely side effects of chemotherapy that I personally went through. But suffice to say, it sucks. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks so much. It sucks. So I am just having to I'm having to go through all of this. And it's not great. And it sucks, obviously. But in the middle of all of this good fun loveliness that I have going on, it comes to my attention that I'm just minding my own business, heading on my way to work, because, got bills to pay. Cancer is expensive. Cancer is so very, very expensive. And heading on to work on night shift at my hospital. And mind you, this is like during rush hour. And I'm in the slow lane. And I get rear-ended by an 18-wheeler tanker. Yes, you heard that right. An 18-wheeler tanker rear-ended me. Mind you, I'm just in this little 2015 Ford Fiesta hatchback. And it's a tiny little car, okay? It's not that big of a car, but it's still a car. And I got rear-ended while I have an ileostomy pouch. Recovering from surgery, went to work to pay those bills, okay? Because the world doesn't stop turning just because I'm sick, unfortunately. And then, yeah, don't get me wrong, it is only by the grace of God, thank you God, that I am even walking and talking at this point. Because I could have very well died. And it was very traumatic, to say the least. So, what do? Like after, again, I'll make a separate video. After having to deal with the fiasco that was having to call everybody, all my family, of course my boss, to tell her that, again, I'm not coming into work because I got into a car wreck. Yeah, she's getting way too familiar with these calls. But they're all legit. Oh my gosh. So, after calling my boss, my family, who again had to rush over to me, okay, and take care of me, went to the ER afterwards, again, different ER, but still ER, again. All right. In dealing with insurance and all of that hot mess, the trucking company only gave me like $2,000. Like they tried to give me like $2,000 in property damage for my car. Are you kidding me? I could have ended up as a burnt human pancake on the highway. All right, because they were carrying it was a tanker, so they were carrying chemicals or gas or whatever the frick was in there. I don't know. And you're telling me you're only gonna offer me like around $2,000 for my car? Make it make sense, please. So at this point, all right, with everything that I am going through, okay, I am, I'm going through major depression along with my trauma. Ooh, I should have turned off the volume on my phone. Live and learn. Okay. Just did that. All right. So, back to my story. My very, very long story. Turns out that throughout all of this, I am going through, of course, major depression because of my cancer, my chemo, my ileostomy pouch, a bunch of stress, and just the madness that is my life. And then I get rear-ended by a freaking 18-wheeler truck tanker. Just piling that on. Lovely. Way. So, said, okay, I'm in depression for like 1-2 weeks at the time. I mean, it'd be weird if I wasn't, with everything going on. And I get this very insulting offer. So I got pissed. And I called lawyers to sue them. So, at this point, it is June of 2025. So I have already gotten diagnosed with cancer. All right. And they told me whenever they, I got diagnosed with cancer. All right. Due to a genetic disorder that I didn't know I had. I had to go through major surgery. And I had an ileostomy pouch and my colon out, which again causes major GI issues, of course. And I had an ileostomy pouch. While I have the ileostomy pouch, I'm going through chemotherapy, which is not fun. Okay? Obviously, not fun. And then I get rear-ended in a major 18-wheeler truck accident by an 18-wheeler tanker. And it's June. We're only halfway through the year at this point. What the frick is my life right now? All right, like legitimately, make sure what is my life right now into a blockbuster of a movie. How in the heck somebody fabulous to play me, and then 1%. I'm gonna retire on the money. This sounds like something that Private Island in a movie, what's it called, in a tropical beach somewhere, and call it a day. Some other form of fiction. So with that being said, not this. Hollywood. What the heck is this? And I honestly wish that I was creative enough to actually make this into some sort of fictional book. So this is 2025. I'm not. Alright. Although I have been told, and I am thinking about this, is to just write this all down. I'm literally in a book going whenever this hotness can only be described done as, so, you heard it first. This is my story. Insanity. All right. It's an insane story, but it's a true story, and it's my story. I'm also having to, of course, I have